guys, I'm David with Dance On, and I'm bringing you your weekly recap of Breaking Point, a new show on the CW which takes you backstage into the world of ballet. Ballet West, a company in Salt Lake City, has allowed cameras backstage for 6 weeks to let us viewers see all of the drama that happens. This week is the last week for the dancers to get back to Adam, the artistic director of the company, to let him know whether or not they're going to stay or go. Ronnie, the blonde motorcycle guy from last week, is having some trouble deciding whether he wants to stay with Ballet West or whether he wants to leave, because if you remember last week, he got a first soloist spot, which is sort of made up, and he thinks that he should be a principal dancer since he's already playing principal roles. Meanwhile, Ronald doesn't know if he should stay or go because his girlfriend Katie got fired from the company, and he doesn't know if he wants to stay with her or stay with his career in the ballet company. And then bam, we go into a montage of them dancing and rehearsing, and I already think this episode is much more dance heavy than last week, and I'm very happy about that. Rex is sort of distracted in rehearsal, and he's falling out of his turns and losing his center, mainly because Allison is being pretty mean to him. This might have something to do with the fact that Allison once dated a guy named Jonathan, and the relationship ended because he thought that she loved dance more than him. And then, apparently, since this episode is just about Ronnie never having his shirt on, we go into a physical therapy scene where he gets stretched and then goes into a bathtub with rubber duckies on the edge of it. So Ronnie goes home to call his sister, and he asks her whether he should stay with company or whether he should leave, and she tells him he's been doing well there and that he should just stay, that he's just feeling homesick and a little bit lonely, which he agrees with. So he thinks he's gonna think it over. Back at Ballet West, the company is rehearsing Petite Moore, which is a very sexy, sensual ballet, and the men are rehearsing with swords, which are sort of symbols for their manhood, if you will. It was really cool to see the men rehearse with the props of the swords and hear Adam talk about how props can either make or break your performance, and it was really nice to see the guys just focusing and sort of zoning in as they did this really interesting, intricate choreography with the swords. As we see Ronnie get really focused in rehearsal, it sort of leads into the scene where he does decide to sign his contract and stay with Ballet West and continue his progress. As the dancers are rehearsing for Petite Moore, there's a little cutscene where Allison is talking to her roommate about going on a diet so that she won't look fat in the small shorts, and I am horrified because in every single interview I notice how tiny Allison is and how thin her little arms are, and to hear her talk about dieting just completely horrifies me. Then we cut to Rex and Ronald deciding that they're going to visit their family in San Francisco. So they go to California to visit their parents and their 3 siblings who are all dancers. They have 2 sisters in the San Francisco Ballet School and 1 brother, Raymond, who's in the San Francisco Ballet, who is gorgeous. I mean, like, Rex and Ronald are good looking, but like Raymond is like, wow! It's a really good looking family. Ronald's family, mainly his mom, tells him that he should stay in the company and that he can, you know, sort of deal with the relationship stuff later, but he needs to get his career secure now, and he's on the right track with Ballet West. I think they're being very practical, and I dig his family. I think they're great. I mean, a family of 5 dancers, that's like incredible. So yay, Ronald and Rex's family. So then we get to the scene where Ronald has to tell Katie that he's going to stay with Ballet West and sign his contract, and he sits her down on a bench, and it's all, you know, the same old Ronald and Katie drama. I think it's just, it's already becoming a cliche by episode 2 that Ronald and Katie are like the annoying reality couple. So he sits her down and he tells her he's going to sign the contract, but that, you know, they're going to make it work, and it seems, you know, once again, staged or scripted, or like he's already told her and they're sort of reenacting it or something. I think the show is sort of trying to like put them as like the main thing, like their relationship is the centerpiece, because they've ended the first 2 episodes with like relationship-y stuff between the 2 of them, and honestly I think that's like the most boring relationship in the whole show. So maybe they should try and center it around something else, like maybe, you know, Beck Ann, who hasn't been seen for the entire episode, because I love Beck Ann. Episode 3, bring in more Beck Ann. Anyway, overall I enjoyed this episode much more. I think they had at least a little bit more focus on the dancing, and I enjoyed seeing them rehearse. They're an amazing ballet company. I mean, there's no question about that. It's just, I think they need to focus more on the dancing, and they're going in that direction, so I hope they keep going in that direction. And I'm excited for next week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye!